All right. So if you're getting sick of CGI ads, I have no better way to transition. But clean living is in trend now, and so with clean living, fitness, and sober lifestyles on the rise, nightlife feels like it's taken a hit, a little bit. Do you think we're seeing the end of traditional clubbing, or is the industry just going through a temporary identity crisis?
Um, yeah, so to give you some recent stats, I've been privy to, as
Yeah.
being part of the industry, is we've seen a loss of about 150 clubs in the last 2 years in
Wow.
Australia.
Yeah.
Um, which is like
It's crazy.
that's massive, and that's just nightclubs. That's not like local operator
Yeah.
cocktail bars in the area.
Yeah.
And licenses are still being, people are still buying new ones, and that price. So a liquor license 15 years ago was about 5 grand. It's now 25 to 30K,
Yeah.
and will continue to rise, until the
Yeah.
government gets sick of increasing that price,
Yeah.
which, it's the government. They'll probably never get sick of increasing that price.
Yeah.
Um, with current market conditions, as you said, healthy living, I just think it's not necessary. Like people aren't sick of music. Like
No.
festivals are still working. Um, I think we hit a real boom. I mean, like everyone was spending money 2018 to 19 pre-COVID. Um, and that was for everything. Like every market looked good. You could have
Yeah.
bought anything, bought any business, and you would have done well pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Um, but coming out of that, I think people have become more thoughtful with their time,
Yeah.
and with connecting with other people. So it's brought on this, as you said, like healthy culture. And it's like, do clubs previously, and this, like I ran a club here in Australia for about 10 years,
Oh,
um, that we would only operate Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes not
right.
even Sunday,
Mm,
you know? So
yeah.
how do you look at a business that's viable and only operate it 2 days of the week? That's
Yeah.
why I think more than anything, maybe this changing culture is helping us identify, oh, maybe we need to look at different ways of running this space.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot in America, and you may have seen this on socials as well, is like cafes.
Yeah.
Early morning DJs in a cafe has
Yeah.
become quite popular in the US at the moment and Europe.
Yeah.
And then you're getting a lot of people, obviously run clubs getting more popular.
Yeah.
And then like ice bath communities that are surrounded like near cafes as well has become more
Yeah.
popular. So it's like, how can you build a cross venture in a venue that
Yeah.
might be able to access these things,
Yeah.
um, and really tap into that Monday to Friday like
Yeah.
morning
Yeah.
market rather than just nighttime.
It's really interesting because I at the end of last year I went to Rhythm and Vines R&B in
Hmm.
yeah, like here in Auckland, sorry, in Gisborne, and it was really interesting because Red Bull had like a booth that was like a activation of some sort of like gym class, like F45 type class, and I was like, there's no fucking way on earth that somebody's got to party till 2 a.m. and then come up the next morning for a 9 a.m. class doing Zumba and God knows what. But you'd be surprised. Like you'd wake up and you'd see like a line of dedicated people that were like off the rocks the night before, but are like really giving it their all in the fitness side of things.
Mm.
And so I don't know if it's a way to like if that's one way to fight the hangoverness, or if they're just not drinking as much, but they're still immersing themselves into that environment, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think drinking culture has changed,
Yeah,
like to be honest. Um, the the amount of, especially like I think the Gold Coast is probably the epicenter of like for Australia sometimes with healthy style living, because
yeah,
um where I live, I was just surrounded by beaches and
yeah,
nice cafes and sunny, like outside it's beautiful weather right now, and summer's like 6 months of the year essentially.
yeah,
So I'm really tapped into that more. It used to be previously, it was like, oh, because we had so much sunny weather and we're
yeah,
outside, drinking
yeah,
was part of
yeah,
that. Now it's more, have I got my Fitspo where's the what's the latest gym wear I'm in?
Yeah.
Am I on point with like the gear that the tees
Yeah.
and gym shorts that I've got and shoes. So it, it it's kind of like how do you how do you find a place like where
Mm.
you can tell like you can bring all of that stuff with you at the same time, because it's like you with drinking, it's like it's just gotten to this place where we still all want to drink, but it's just so expensive
Yeah.
now. And
Exactly.
like, a lot of people don't understand. And again, being part of the industry, I'm privy to this, is like government taxes on alcohol, again,
Oh, okay.
also continues to
Yeah.
rise.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
continue to increase the percentage that they're taking,
Yeah.
and more money. So it's like why alcohol keeps on going up is not because clubs hate you or bottle shops hate
Yeah.
you. It's because
Yeah.
our government continues to tax more and more and more. So to get alcohol landed in Australia from other
Yeah.
countries, as well as as well as kind of created in Australia, is becoming
Yeah.
more and more expensive. So the government in itself is actually
Yeah.
forcing us to stop drinking
Yeah.
because less and less people can afford to do that kind of thing in bulk. Whereas you
Yeah.
would go, I as a teenager, like I'm 42 this year, and when I was 18, it'd be like every single person that came over to my house on a Thursday would bring a bottle of alcohol. And now you'd be lucky to have someone show up with a six pack.
Yeah. They
If
all
you have a
gotta chip in
party,
for a six pack.
yeah, if you have a party at your house, you're kind of expected to supply one or two bottles of alcohol.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, yeah, like you'd have a party at your house and you'd almost have to throw out alcohol after a couple of months because there'd be just so much
Yeah.
shit at your house.
For sure. Yeah. It's really interesting. So just to just to just to double check, you don't run a club anymore, or do you?
I don't know.
Okay. Was it because it was just like losing money and it was just not viable to
Oh
run
no,
anymore?
so I was a manager and then I switched. That's why I started
Okay.
the agency.
Yep.
Is because what was it? I was 35 and I was just like, I can't. I don't want to stay up till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the
Yeah.
morning anymore. I want
Yeah.
to get on with my life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. So if you were like if you put yourself in the shoes of a nightclub owner or like a club owner, whatever, do you double down on like just the do you double down on what you have and how much of a good environment it is, or do you try and embrace like the whole wellness side of things? Like I'm just thinking out loud, like is it worth having like a club, like a nightclub, have like a run club like the next day or something, like just some sort of like like a fusion between the two, maybe. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
really
it's an interesting one. Like the I think community is probably on a much bigger scale required for a
yeah,
nightclub these days. I think previously just being open and having cheap drinks was something that was you'd win. You could win the
yeah,
hey, I've got cheaper drinks than the guy next
yeah,
door. And our bartenders are hotter.
yeah,
I think really being conscientious of like what are we who are we?
yeah,
I think brand again comes into it. So I don't know if you can necessarily. I think being more conscious, like I think I said it at the start, where you need to be more conscious of those Monday to Fridays. Like,
yeah,
what can we do in this venue that's good that might access that health and wellness area as well
yeah,
as our community at large,
yeah,
are much more key, rather than just we serve the best drinks and we have the hottest bartenders. I think that period of people where and this is pretty common in the industry as well, is like, someone that has a bit of money that's in their 40 to 50s, that's
yeah,
like, I'm a bit bored. I might go buy a club or I might go,
yeah,
buy a cafe. I think
yeah,
that time has passed because you need to actually be so attuned and dialed into the market.
yeah,
It's become much, much more competitive
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, and that's so apparent here in New Zealand. I don't know if it's the same there, but like we like there's like a cycle of every 3 4 months, I guess every quarter, where like a club launches and there's like a big 1 month like rollout for it, and it's gonna be the biggest launch night of the year, blah blah blah. They're bringing out some artists, etc., etc. And they come as fast as they go. Like they don't last for like more than 3 4 months. It's kind of scary as a business venture.
Yeah, yeah. It's honestly, I've thought like owning a club is still something I want to do. I'm still
Yeah,
very much attached to the music industry, but
yeah,
I've stayed out of it because of that. Like there is just no safe way currently to see more than, a 12 to 24 month timeline
yeah,
for a nightclub. Like if
yeah,
you're doing it, you're committing to losing a couple $1 million
yeah.
at
Exactly.
the moment. Like even to
Yeah,
fit it out and get the licenses and get through the first 6 months, as you said, like that first party, people are expecting to come to an opening of a nightclub and get free drinks.
yeah.
So that
Of course.
first night, that's 50K night.
Yeah,
Just in
right.
alcohol, free
Yeah,
entry, the DJ, staffing, lighting, electricity,
yeah,
license, everything. That's just
yeah.
minimum 50K, and we haven't even done the fit out and paid the rent.
No, that's just the night.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just the night.
yeah,
So yeah, it's not an industry that you can enter lightly, but it's definitely happening everywhere. And I mean, more and more people, like we have a group chat with a couple of mates where
yeah,
that's what we'll send. Is what you said.
yeah,
We'll go, oh, look at the new look at the new club that's opening. Let's
yeah,
check in with them in 6 months and see where
yeah,
they're at.
yeah, yeah,
And you try to, like a lot of the stuff though is unfortunately the industry is very much. I mean, the workforce as a whole is still stuck in this competitive space where
yeah,
it thinks everyone's trying to cut their lunch, where it should be much more communal.
yeah,
Um, Nightclubs in particular, they need each other.
yeah,
Like they feed off each other. If another venue is busy, you will get customers if they're in there, if they're in your circle,
yeah,
essentially. And I think the same goes for a marketing agency. The same goes for an accounting agency. Like if you can't fit, if a client's too small or too big for you, or you know a
yeah,
booking comes in and you can't take it, there should be other people in your circle that are the same business that you can feed and
yeah,
pass on. And I think, in particular, the entertainment industry, festivals, nightclubs, DJs,
yeah,
everyone should be taking more advantage of that kind of community.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really interesting. Just one last question on this topic, real quick.
Hmm.
Do you think that like these, so like there's with the with the slow decline of a bunch of clubs, let's say, or like traditional clubbing in a sense, and there's obviously
Traditional
like a
clubbing, yeah.
natural, yeah, and there's a natural rise in daytime events and run clubs and so on and so forth. Do you think the latter could ever replace the night clubbing stuff, or will they just forever live in their own lanes?
And it's a tough guess because I think there'll always be people that enjoy nightlife. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I think nighttime is different people. Like
yeah,
some people just operate better at night and have more fun at night. You've got people that work all day and then want to, and their only free time is 9 to 12 at night.
yeah,
So I think there should always be and will always be a place for nightlife,
yeah,
but it will have to get tweaked a bit. I just don't think the previously it's like cheap drinks sweating on each other um, vibe is kind of there much
yeah,
anymore unless where it's attached to a Diplo or a Kanye or some sort of massive artist that we're dying to see, and even then like they're struggling to pull
yeah,
numbers. So you have to believe that there has to be some sort of tweak coming
yeah,
in the long term for nightlife. Um, but I think that will also lean into venues, as I said, being able to look at something more in the daytime.
yeah,
But I don't think nightlife will ever disappear
yeah,
as a
yeah,
whole
for sure.
because I mean I love going out at
Yeah,
nights.
yeah. No, it's yeah, no, it's I don't yeah, I don't think it'll go away anytime soon. To be honest, I think it'll always have its people. I think in general it might just need to like get with the times, just like the wedding videography thing.
So
It
yes,
needs to adapt.
it needs to
Now,
hit 2025.
yeah, exactly. She got left in 1979.